Welcome back. There's a few loose ends to tie up before we finish Path of the Shell for real. We have another passage to read here. The numbers Yisha gave in her note were 2:45 to 55, which is this paragraph. When the tree dies, there will come a new one, a grower to learn of the deaf, a grower to see new life, a grower to bring the gathered, a grower to restore the least, a grower to move through time, a grower to link at will, a grower to follow the shell, a grower to banish darkness, a grower to graft the branches, a grower to join the paths. These are basically the prophecies related to the grower, which Yisha has now fulfilled. Are we done now? No. Yisha's speech in Kavir, she told us that his body is no longer in his vault. Now who could that refer to? Well, we've seen a body in a vault, and that is the body of Guildmaster Kadish in Kadish Talisa. And this journey cloth should link us back to the inside of the vault. There we are. But his body is still in the vault. What was she talking about? Strange. Let's look around a little bit more. And hidden in the corner here is a linking book. And this linking book takes us not to a different age, but it takes us through time. So obviously that's Yisha's doing, because she can move through time. Now we are in a future version of the vault. And indeed, Kadish's body is gone. And as Yisha said, there is new life in the form of these butterflies. Very pretty butterflies. If we go outside here, we can't get very far because it appears that the path has crumbled. Anything else in here? Yes, there are some fragments of a note here, of a letter. I have conquered the stream. These streams, set to flow of their own will, now flow where I... There's some more pieces of that note. I've saved his life. These are the powers of gods, and I now have this power. Written by Yisha, of course. She talks about the power she now has. The power of the gods. And she said, I've saved his life. Apparently, one interpretation of that I've seen is that she brought Kadish back to life, which would seem to agree with what she said in her speech. And there's some other things here, like this helmet. Bit of a silly helmet, but anyway. And also one final Relto page. One more thing I want to point out outside, actually. Not just the stairs here are gone. But the journey door has also disappeared. Well, that is truly the end. First, let me just get rid of this silly looking helmet. Because that's really just too silly. No. That one. Okay. Well, the only thing left to do is check out what this last Relto page did, and it added the same butterflies that we saw in Kadish to Lisa to our Relto. Aren't they pretty? Well, this brings our journey to a close. We have followed Yisha's journey, learned of the decadence of the Dunny and helped her return the least. We have followed the story of the DRC, gone into Dunny and saw the restoration come to an end. And we have followed the path of the shell and learned that Yisha is the grower who will shape the future of Dunny. Well, as I said in the beginning, I like Uru. I like it a great deal. It is by no means perfect. The gameplay has a very different feel than the other Myst games. The controls can be a bit clumsy, the camera angles are a bit wonky sometimes, and there's altogether too many puzzles that rely on jumping. Yet in its essence, Uru is a true Myst game. The distinctive quality of any Myst game, in my opinion at least, is that it lets you explore these realistic worlds and learn about them and their inhabitants. And Uru had this in spades. The ages were diverse, inventive and interesting, and they also looked great, especially considering the age of the game and the fact that it uses real-time 3D. The puzzles were challenging and interesting as well. Uru's weak point is perhaps its story. Although it's interesting, the story is at times confusing, and even with the expansion packs it has an unfinished feel to it. I'm sure that Cyan meant to resolve everything in Uru Live had it survived longer, but it didn't. Myst V does help tie up some of the remaining loose ends. Many people also resent Uru's story, sometimes even going so far as to declare it non-canon, for some of the elements it introduces, such as Yisha's ability to break the rules of writing and the existence of the Barrow. I personally don't mind this so much, because the game at least acknowledges that these things are different. It doesn't try to pretend that that's how things always were. The true value of Uru is in the amount of backstory it provides, the amount of fan service it gives. Uru, more than any of the other games or even the novels, helps fill in the blanks about the Dunny and their history and culture, and provides us with a wealth of information about this fantastic world that Rand and Robin Miller, along with their colleagues at Cyan Worlds, have created. Being able to visit locations like the Dunny Cavern and the Cleft in the Desert that we've heard about previously but not yet seen was also a real treat for any Myst fan. If we weigh all these pros and cons, then we are left with a game that, while certainly not as good as Riven, is still an all-round great experience. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it, and I certainly hope that you enjoyed watching it in these videos as well. Although I guess that's probably true, because otherwise why would you still be here after 86 videos? The one question that many of you no doubt have is, what am I going to do next? Well, I've had requests to do the entire Myst series, but I see little point in doing that. Shady Paradox has done an excellent job with Real Myst, and I don't think I could add anything to that, doing either the original or Real Myst. He has also said that he wants to do Myst 3 Exile, and since I had no real intention of doing that one anyway, I will leave that in his capable hands. Which leaves Myst 4 and 5 for me. Although out of those two I like 4 best, I will actually do Myst 5 next. Its story directly follows that of Uru, so it just makes more sense to me to do that one now. I can't give any guarantees on when I will start with that, but it'll probably be soon. I may still do Myst 4 as well, sometime in the future, but no promises on that either. So, until then, goodbye, and thanks once again for watching. Really, guys, I really appreciate all the comments you've left and everything. Without you guys, this wouldn't be nearly as enjoyable for me. And remember, the ending can never truly be written.